with
so.
who won it and stuff. And
Yeah,
then
we've got a shitload of questions. We got the universe.
Mrs. Carnitine launching, which is sick.
Yeah. Yeah, I had so many people asking like what it does, and I was like, I've done a fucking 10-minute video on this. Just watch that. Do you know what I mean?
You need to change your description there. Say it's Savage Supplements.
Does it?
Take it out.
People do. It's one of those compounds as well, or products that, like, when you use it, you see an instant difference. Like, it is one of the ones it changes, especially pre-workout. Pumps and sweats is nuts.
Honestly, do you know? I suppose we can put this in the title of the podcast, can't we? Because it then links in with it being available there.
Yeah.
For me, I started using it as part of my fertility protocol, and I directly noticed my motility went from 15% to 45% just from the addition of the L-carnitine. So that was 400 mg every day. And then, obviously, I tried putting it before fasted cardio, and to be honest, I didn't see any benefit. But I was also in a very low hormone environment because I'd come off everything. My testosterone level hadn't recovered. So I wasn't in the ideal situation, to potentially see fat loss, even if I was in a deficit. So I was doing more and more research. I read Alex Kickel's ebook on it and that. And basically what it's doing is it's helping the body free up fatty acids to be moved into the mitochondria. So you get more energy during training, right? So I thought, well, if I've got to pin the fucker every day anyway, I may as well put it before training on the training days instead of before cardio. And I noticed even when my testosterone was at 3 and 4 millimole, my workouts noticeably got better.
Yep.
Not only at the start, but I had more energy throughout the workout. So ever since then, if I noticed a positive effect to it while my testosterone was so low, then I see it as a huge benefit for natural clients, but then also as a benefit for us. So there's the simple performance benefit. I also then feel that if you're in a fat loss phase, not only is it helping you power through your workouts more effectively, it is also allowing you to use more stored body fat as energy through the workouts. So it's like a double bonus, so to speak, for me. And yes, don't get me wrong, there is the ball ache that it's got to be injected, but you can use an insulin pin, the smallest one. I put it in my pecs, front delts, ventral glute, quads, no issues at all. Now I've been using the engineered one, Riz's one, for a week. I have put it in my delts, front delts, pecs, and glute. I've had no pain so far.
Zero pain.
Yeah, now
I used to use one at the minute, and that's got no pit, which is good. That's been good. I need to try Riz's yet. But
I did use Savage Subs. That stung a bit, then it didn't. And then I used another one that was in agony. But like for me, you get some people that say, just a ball ache, it's another jab. And I do get that. But I think if you can get away with doing it with a tiny slim pin in a little muscle that doesn't get jabbed, for me, in an honest opinion, I think the performance benefits, the potential improvement on body composition and fat loss far outweigh the fact you've got to jab it. And the beauty of it is, whether you are going through PCT, whether you try to get a fertility benefit, whether you are a natural athlete, everybody is getting the benefit from something that is not expensive. And then it also has, or it has been reported to have, positive effects on HDL and LDL. And there's lots of other stuff there that it's a great benefit for.
But it pairs very, very well with growth hormone, doesn't it, as well? So
it can pair well with a lot of things because it's doing this. It's got a mechanism action that's similar. So if you pair it with growth hormone that's also releasing fatty acids, and then you add training, you've almost got a double whammy of a fat loss effect. Now, how significant that is compared to using an actual fat loss drug is different. But again, whether it's us guys that are assisted, you want all of the benefits you can. I mean, AJ is a huge fan of it. AJ's had me running 500 or 600 milligrams right the way through my off season and right the way through prep. It is there no matter what.
your adds up as well.
Am I right in saying, Hilly, you would use the growth hormone to mobilize the fatty acids, and then the L-carnitine would force it into the mitochondria to be used as energy. Yeah.
What I like about it as well is like if you start on 500 mg, that 500 mg works all along. So you can use it for weeks and weeks and weeks. You don't ever have to up the dose. Unlike, say, when you use like rapid insulin and you start on, let's say, 3 IU, and then within like a week, you don't feel it anymore. Like you're not getting the pumps. So you've got to use 4, and then you use 5, and you use 6, With that, you don't get that.
And it's just a healthy, natural amino acid that everybody can take. The only downside, like I say, is injectable. But when you look at the oral just doesn't seem to work on paper.
Doesn't have the bioavailability, does it? No.
Just doesn't.
The uptake of oral form is like 10%.
Yeah.
Well,
also, 90% of us are pinning something pre-workout. Like, if you just load your insulin, your growth hormone, your L-carnitine up in the same barrel, it's a single pin, and just slam it in. Like, do you know what I mean?
Thing is, it's like that's kind of something I said about the daily shots. Like the reality for a lot of us is like you get up and you pin your growth and you pin your Lantis and then you pin something else and you pin something else. So we're constantly pinning all day long. So what's another shot? Fuck it.
I do get people's mindset, so I think it's a very valuable tool for a female to use. It just obviously then negates the psychological aspect of injecting something which they don't like.
What dose how would you dose it for a female?
I would do 200 or 300 milligrams is what I've got females using. Yeah,
that's plenty. It's not. You don't need to go 5.
I don't think so. And again, I'm not a fan of girls injecting at all. Full stop. And I understand the psychological barriers to it. But when you've got a female that's like, listen, I want to use every avenue that isn't an AS, that is a very good, useful avenue to go down, do you know what I mean, when you're talking about what milk, all of the benefits. And again, it's not illegal to possess, it's not illegal to purchase, it's got no negative ill health effects. You were only seeing positives from it across the fucking board. So there is a big argument of why on earth would you not use it?
And just to touch on what you just said a second ago, not all L-carnitine is equal. Some of it stings like a motherfucker. And I think if you were to go back a year ago, maybe 18 months, it was more of a pain in the ass to not use because all of it was stinging and very pippy. And I think people now have a better form of the rules. I think Riz understands it a little better than I did. The majority of it now doesn't hurt as much.
The issue is, right, you can use L-carnitine from bulk powders, which is about 80 quid for a kilo, right? No, about 50 quid for a kilo. But that's L-carnitine acetyl, and they put a different bond on it. So when you're making that, or whoever makes it for you, you have to level it with the pH, right? And you got to filter it like 10 times. But the labs are not filtering it as much. And then when they can't get the pH right, so they have to put more baking soda in it to then make it a leveled pH, right? If you just buy the expensive raw L-carnitine base, it costs twice the price. You have to use no baking soda, and you lose a tiny bit of BA, the littlest bit, and it stabilizes.
It's been very popular in America because Synthetech have made it for a long time.
Yeah.
The only problem with the Synthetech one is I think it's like 100 or 200 milligrams per mil. So for the dosing we want, it's expensive. You have a lot of it. You having to inject. Obviously, you can't use an insulin pin then if you want to do 3 mil or 4 mil, or you need to be doing, and that's what put me off using it for a while. I continued to look at it, but I was like, do I really want to be getting a syringe out and a little pin and doing 3 mil of this shit every day? Whereas now, you've got 500 milligram per mil. It's one insulin pin. It's one jab. It's a double. Do you know what I mean?
And normally Alex's Kiku's ebooks will blow your mind with stupid words with like 500 syllables in, but this is like one of the only ones you can read and digest. And there's a really good piece on there in using the L-carnitine effectively as the backwater your GH if you're using like a generic. He says there's massive benefits to doing it in terms of its longevity as well as the benefit of pinning it.
I spoke to Hilly about this last year once.
Yeah, the only thing that puts me off with that is there will have been, I don't think, any medical actual research where a doctor, like in a lab, has taken the L-carnitine and mixed it with GH, because why the fuck on earth would they do that? So just because he says that's fine, if I'm using especially pharma grade growth, for me I think it's an expensive risk.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be doing it. Not a fucking chance.
to someone that hasn't actually been in a lab and tested it under a microscope and gone,
Yeah.
oh, actually, hang on, I've read loads of books, but I was wrong. This is ruining the fucking growth hormone. So when people have asked that, I've always said, personally, I'm sure it's absolutely fine, because Alex is a clever kid. But I just think when you're spending money on something like Pharma growth, and, you know, for the sake of saving it, if we don't medically, scientifically know the interactions, I've avoided it personally.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are saying it's pippy because they're fucking putting it sub-Q, man.
Yeah.
It's not. You're not really supposed to put it sub-Q, but I know where this comes from.
Times. I used to do that before you said about the PEC. So after Hilly said about the PEC, I started doing the PEC, and it's been the best thing I've ever done.
So easy,
People
so
don't realize
easy.
how fat they are either, do that. Like, I know it sounds terrible, but you know when they use the insulin pins, like they think they're getting into their delt or their chest or the ventral glute. You're fucking not half the time. Like if you're someone that stores fat in those areas, there's no way in the world you're getting into the muscle if you're using a tiny slim pin, you know?
No chance.
Unless you're pushing it very fucking hard.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
what topics are we covering today, boys?
So we've got the universe. Me and Riz, we went, didn't we? So we've got some insight.
First, yeah.
Yeah. So who, Riz, out of everyone that you saw, not competitors, but people, like just the people just walking about, who impressed you the most when you looked at it and you thought, fucking hell?
It's an interesting question, Judd. I like that.
Jack.
Yeah, I was walking in the toilet. I looked in the mirror and I see myself. I was like, oh, I see him. Now, do you know what? I have to give it to him. Yeah, that Neil Harry Potter.
No, I'm saying out of just the gym bros.
Like in the crowd, you know when you're walking around, like people who just
walking around the expo, not people competing.
Nathan Styles, bro, right now, fucking hell.
We chatted with him because I was talking to him when he came over. But he was just covered up though. You couldn't really.
He is one of those dudes though. Like you can't comprehend his size by pictures because most people who are quite new into bodybuilding. One thing they can't understand or contextualize is weight. Like when people put 320 pounds or 330, 340 pounds, they think it's a number. When you see like Nathan Styles next to like the likes of Cuba, like he makes him look like he's his son. Like he literally looks like a child.
Bro.
Huge.
Nathan Styles, I'll say this, we were chatting in the gym yesterday. He's 6'3", yeah, but he's built like a short man. As in, do you know what I mean? He's not dangly.
Yeah.
He's dense, bro.
Do you think he's very much got like a rugby player build? You know that like typical rugby player, like this density everywhere type build, quite square.
Like a prop, yeah.
Yeah.
He's not like you say. He's not like
Jamie,
where he's tall and stretched out. He's still, like you say, he's got that look of a 5'6" guy.
He's big. Lewis Breed's big. Josh Law's big.
Josh Law. I goes to the toilet for a piss, and I watch Josh come out the little cubicle, and I'm like, "How the fuck did you even fit in there?" He goes, "Oh, bro, tell me about it, mate." He literally, I don't even know how he fucking fit in there. I was literally going, I watched him come out, and I thought, "Fucking hell."
Bro, I seen him walk towards me. I was like, "Fucking hell, you're dumb big." And he just loves that thing.
Like really tight tops. So like he's not like oversized tops like Nathan Styles. Like he walks in an oversized top. Like Josh, he just wears all these like really tight tops. So it isn't just like a fucking balloon.
He's always lean though, isn't he? He can get away with it. Like he's never fat. He's just blocks and squares of muscle on top of muscle.
I think he's looking big as well. The lad who won the pro card with Martin abroad. Forgot the name. Gomez.
Oh
yeah. Big.
He's so big for his height. He looks painful. Like it doesn't look normal. You know, I spend a lot of time in Africa, and sometimes you see women, their asses are so fat it looks like it hurts. That's like Gomez, but the muscle version. Like he walks around and like that can't be comfortable.
Yeah. But I think, what did you think of the placings, boys?
Well, what did you think? Because you were there, go through the classes first.
To sort of start class by class, the juniors, fuck me.
Mate, that kid, what's that little lad's name? I really like him. He's a nice kid. Is it Danny? Danny Howarth?
That's Tom's guy. Yes, Tom's guy.
He's a lovely little kid. Like I met him.
He did my show. And I was looking at him. I'm like, fuck me. I'm glad I'm not going up against this kid because he's
Yeah.
fucking peeled.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Pretty physique.
physique, yeah, he's just really well put together. But I'm pretty sure because I couldn't believe he got beat. I'm pretty sure I stalked that other kid who was fucking peeled. Like that Danny looked lean, but the kid who beat him, you could see in the videos, he was like shredded. I think he's natural.
Could
He
be.
he did a natural show recently, so I'm assuming he must be, or unless he's converted.
Who is it?
The black guy.
No, he wasn't black guy. He looks like Hispanic type thing. I'll find him a sec. Give me a sec.
I tell you what, the Koreans were absolutely insane. Like them lot, they all of them were on the fucking money.
See, I'm surprised by that because I thought, and obviously we know what the PCA footage is like. We know. I just thought they all looked a bit soft, like bubbly and pretty, but quite soft.
No, I think that, trust me, bro, the video cameras definitely do fucking dog shit.
When
Bro.
you see that in person, it's just another fucking level.
I'm just trying to find like some pictures, man.
Yeah.
I think he looked really, really good. Chris One looked really fucking good.
So this, so we'll get to that. Like when the supers come out and Chris come out, he literally stood out of everyone. I thought, fuck me, and I said that to you, didn't I? Fuck me, Chris looks massive. And even backstage, like pumping up.
Yeah,
it's like they had it. It wasn't like backstage. It was like on the actual arena. They had like the pump up bit, so you could go up there.
Sick.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And because me and Ryan went over, and I've rung Riz, and I was like, "Come over here, so you could watch him pump up."
yeah.
Mate, fucking
How many of them were properly hitting the pump up? All of them.
Chris One was hitting it hard.
Yeah, because they had like a proper pump up area, not like in most of them fucking little peasant little dumbbells and bands. Nah,
Yeah.
like, they had like machines and shit. You could fucking have a workout there.
I said before, Chris One, could be very fucking dangerous. One more off season, proper one, because he's only done this show with he had a bit of time off. And Matt just helped him do the show. But the guy's very, very impressive, man. He's very round.
He's got like skinny person genetics with a lot of muscle hanging off him. Does that make sense? He's got like he's stringy, but with just clumps of muscle just slapped. A bit like Josh Law. Like Josh Law, I don't think naturally he's a big dude. You know what I mean? But he's hammered a lot of muscle on top of his frame.
I think with Chris One, he's got a very pretty physique as well.
Mm-hmm.
It flows very well. He's not too tall. He's not too short. And he bought the perfect. In my opinion, I had him second.
I did too.
How can I ask, or do you remember the classic guy, the dude who won the black kiddie, who won the classic and then the overall, then won the universe?
Yeah.
In every photo, I just thought he looked like kind of bang average, if that makes sense. Like he had a good physique. He wasn't a big dude, but like he was in shape. But he just didn't look very classic to me.
I think this is the problem. PCA, this is the honest truth, right? Not a lot of people are going to like this, but the classic there seems to be a very small bodybuilder.
Well, it is called that, though, isn't it? It is classic bodybuilding. It's not classic physique like NPC.
True.
So this was I was just about to say that with PCA, the difference between bodybuilding and classic bodybuilding is they just probably emphasize the posing a little bit more rather than actually that's what makes it classic.
Yeah,
because they're hitting all the same shots as normal bodybuilders.
So
yeah,
the guy,
don't they?
Something I wanted to sort of bring up is the guy that was second in the men in tall class. He was soft, but he was meant to be classic. But they pulled him out of the classic lineup and they put him in the men's in like the class one
Open, yeah.
So he had to pump up twice, which probably didn't really do him any favor. But like
He looked good though, had mega shape.
we watched him and like the shape of him was just insane. And he comes second, but he was soft, really fucking.
Was
soft.
that the
Yeah.
guy that was on stage with Dan in that?
Yeah, the one that
Quite
comes
good looking cunt, quite good looking lad. Yeah, I
Very
know.
good looking guy.
I couldn't work out who he was, but yeah, he looked awesome.
So he was supposed to do classic, but they didn't let him for some reason. They pulled him out of the class and they put him. They said obviously, so he pumped up, and they were like, "Nah, you can't do classic. You got to do men's."
But he just won classic to be qualified.
Not sure.
He must have, yeah. Weird.
Yes. Surely they can't move you at finals if they let you get an invite as classic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe he slapped on £10. You never know.
Well, there is that, isn't there?
Trying to share the screen, boys, but it seems like it's not working.
Because it is interesting, isn't it? Because like we can use that that Sam Astor was a good example, can't we? Like, he cleans up in the European shows, the NPC ones, very close to getting his pro card. But he's been fourth, hasn't he, every time in Classic for PCA? You know what? We know the kid with the legs that Tom coaches, Hammer's old client. So there is obviously a difference in criteria.
Yeah, I think that they are not really I've said this for a while. It's just smaller bodybuilders. They are not focused on looking at classic lines, classic shapes. Are you posing for a classic look? For me, they just always seem to reward a smaller, slighter bodybuilder. That's what I've always said.
Can you not see the
forgot to
screen?
close the Pornhub tab at the top, bud.
Can you not see the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think these are the guys who competed there. So this guy was wicked, wasn't he?
The difference in that shot to the qualifier with Hilly is fucking nuts.
John's right. So he was the guy for the overall at that qualifier, right? I kid you not, he looked nothing like this. Nothing.
Fucking hell, yeah.
He literally must have just got off the plane when he did my show, because this is like a different bloke in terms of detail and condition. It's off it how different he looks.
He looks brilliant. He looked really good.
Loads of muscle.
This girl here looked really, really good.
Mate, some of these women are so impressive these days. Like, even at Hilly's show, that overall of those girls, they were all like in my opinion, pro caliber athletes. They all look nuts.
Oh, 100%, bro. This girl here, when I watched her routine, she wouldn't stop smiling. It's like she had a big smile, bro.
Yeah.
Danny, look good.
There he is. That's a sick shot in it. That is such a cool shot.
He's only 23. You know what I mean?
He's
Just
big.
a
He's
baby.
been good for a few years.
Oh, 100%.
He's been at it since he was young as well. I think he's been going at it since he was like 18, 19. He used to do that really gay clash, you know, the one where they wear like little weird pants? Muscle model, whatever it is.
Yeah.
This guy's brilliant, isn't he?
See, this is the kid.
The one who
Nothing-
yeah.
I was thinking about the other classic guy, and this guy's good, I reckon.
Yeah, I think he's good. I just don't know. I don't think anything's classic about him. But he went and won all of it, didn't he, in the end? I think he won the classic universe as well. So I know fuck all. But yeah.
The guy that won the overall, that Alex kid,
Yeah.
he was insane.
Alex.
The guy that gave up his pro card for physique and then done bodybuilding.
Oh, God, what's a picture of him?
Keep
Yeah, I
going
know
down.
who-
Keep going down.
This guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was super. He won the
There you
overall the
go.
day before, didn't he?
Yeah.
I
They're
really
all really good.
when he was next to Nathan at Heck Rules, Nathaniel, whatever his name is, I really thought that was a close battle. Like, such different physiques, but as competitive as each other. You know what I mean?
Nathan was so good in person, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
He's big, man, isn't he? You can't grasp how big he is until he stood in that lineup.
Bro, he's a unit, man. I'm trying to get a picture of him. Here is Blade.
I thought he looked really good, personally.
You did, yeah. He deserved that. He deserved that for sure.
If
I
he
think-
looks that good on this video, then he must have been inside fucking
Yeah.
out.
Oh, mate, it was.
Oh, he was definitely on the flatter, drier side. There's no doubt about that.
He looks that as well. That's what I was going to say, Riz. They look like they haven't blasted him full. He's just nice and crisp, you know?
Kind of needs that though, because that's his strength. He's never going to be the roundest and fullest guy, but he's a bit like Ryan. He needs to kind of like play to his strength.
Did he
His
do?
strength
Did
is
he
that.
did he do classic
No.
No.
He did,
bodybuilding?
class 1, yeah. He won the
Yeah,
class
'cause
1.
he beat Dan, didn't he?
He beat Dan and that classic, the guy that wanted to do classic, and Chris and everyone.
Where
I will say
Nathan's very hard to beat is the side shot here. He's fucking mega.
His stomach, and this isn't a knocking. I love the guy. I think he's a great bodybuilder, but I think this is the worst I've seen his stomach.
His midsection looks very wide there. Please go back on that from the start again, please.
I'm trying to see if there's a picture.
See, that midsection there is a bit.
Yeah, was this the day before though, where they really carved him up, ready for the next day?
Yeah, this was the qualifier.
He was struggling to control that midsection, but they must have just carved up too hard.
Well, I think that was their plan. I read his post, and what they were going to do is really push the boat out the day before and let him
And then
dry
let him
off
dry
into
it.
the universe, or flatten off.
But that didn't really happen, I don't think.
No.
He still won, but he looked really good.
I think it's hard for the stomach to empty out when you're doing that for 2 shows.
Yeah.
Because you're already starting the drying out process on the day before. So if you're drying out and you're putting all that food in, the gastrointestinal tract really starts to slow down. And a lot of the time you end up, there's still a lot sat in the guts. You need like a colon flush or something. I use something called ducklings with clients, where it's pulling fluid into the bowels all the time. Because once you start pulling water and you're putting food in, and then you've got to stay dehydrated for the next day to some extent.
That's the guy.
Yeah, he looks like that.
Struggle to move.
He looks like that Logan Franklin. He looks like Logan Franklin from Wish.
I was just thinking that.
This guy's very, 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 very good. If you actually look at his profile, he's been in way better shape before. Because look,
Yeah, that's awesome, isn't it?
well, you can't deny that's not.
See, that's a
good
classic
fucking look.
physique to me. Like, I know he's bigger, but that is a classic physique to me.
That's an IFBB classic, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the guy's got everything pretty much. I know they're a bit touched up.
It's not Tubero's classic though, because he's got some muscle.
Look at this. He's fucking brilliant.
Look at that.
Yeah.
He's fucking mega. He is.
He would do awesome in the IFBB classic in there with that shot. Wow.
Yeah, it's a shame they didn't let him compete in Classic because he would have smoked everyone there.
Hey, this
This
guy
guy-
is fucking built.
So that's the guy that Dan went up against in this first show, in the Exeter show.
Okay.
That's Rich.
He's very fucking good. He is. Sliced.
He's sliced there, isn't he?
Right. Whoops.
So did you get a chance to speak to anyone afterwards? Like, how was everyone feeling? Like, I know Dan was pretty devastated. Did you get any feedback from him? Where was his head at?
Yeah, so Dan pretty much left as soon as the show was done. I've been chatting to him on WhatsApp, tried to get him to come on the podcast. He goes, not yet. So I don't want to speak for him. Like, I've chatted to him quite a bit and a little bit. I know quite a lot of insight into what went on and what they did and what happened. But I think the best thing to do is to just wait till we.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I understand.
You know,
Yeah, you can.
because it's not my
Give
place
2
to speak.
seconds.
You know.
The baby's awake. 2 seconds.
Yeah, go on, boys. Carry on.
Yeah, it's not for me to say that. It's not my
No,
place.
no.
But yeah, it kind of sounds like what happened to him is what happened with me. Like he said, I'll just kind of say that. Like he was in the 230s before the carb up, and after the carb up, he was 260.
What?
I know.
That can't be right. Surely not.
Yeah.
Dan wouldn't lie either. So he.
So
What
I mean,
the
look, even if, 'cause he would have been high 230s. So let's say even if it was 240, 20 pounds to put on. Well,
Bro,
someone
if I
like
put on
me-
£5 of fullness, I'd be fucking flapping, let alone £30.
well, not 30. So say if he was, because he would have been high 230s.
Oh, I
Let's-
get you. So 20 or
Let's say he was about 240.
Even £20, that's weird.
Oh, 20, I mean, I put on 15, didn't I? I put on 15. So
Oh, I did 4,000 grams of carbon put on a pound, bro.
same as me, easily. Like £1.8, £2 max.
it depends what you do. Like if you up the water and up the salt, and you put the wrong foods in, where because his stomach was distended, wasn't it, massively?
The weird thing was, Chudley, obviously you're way closer to Dan than I am, but when he hit this is what was weird. His stomach was bloated, but when he hit his ab shots, it was sliced.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of people like that Joe Seaman, like a lot of the dudes with really bad midsections, when they pull it in, it's nails, which is, and I think Nick Walker is an example. He has so much density to his abs, like when he pulls it in, it looks fucking awesome. The problem is when he doesn't pull it in and he's relaxed, he looks like he's 9 months pregnant.
Yeah, but Dan looked flat. He looked.
I don't think he looked flat,
How
Chud,
can
you
he
know
be
that?
flat with like gaining 20 pounds?
I suppose he can. The job up, the water balance will be off. It'll be all
Yeah.
He was
Just
he
not-
was watery but flat. Like he wasn't like full. His muscle just didn't have that pop. Everything just looked deflated.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think a lot of people need to realise as well, it's very hard to continuously keep trying to peak for shows, yeah? Using diuretic on diuretic, yeah? Because everyone uses them at the top level. There's nothing to be fucking Dan's not told me nothing. It's just purely
Hey,
speculation,
Physique
right?
Collective won't have that, bro.
Look, bro, it's purely speculation, bro. Yeah, look, there's only so much the kidneys can get rid of.
Well, the first show
there's-
he done, the one that my show, he didn't use any directs for that show, but that's because he was doing Exit the next week, which I think that was a really good package.
That was a better look.
And
But he might have peaked too early.
He's had a good bit of time between shows, though, hasn't he? It must have been 4 or 5 weeks.
nah,
So,
more like
the
8.
diuretic-
I
yeah,
think,
so
I think, I think,
the diuretic things, regardless, that shouldn't have any impact at all.
I think, in my opinion, this is not speaking on for Dan or on Dan, but this is just speaking about, I think, bigger bodybuilders in general. I think they just have this weight in their head, don't they? That I am a 250-pound on-stage bodybuilder, and that's kind of what I'm going to be, irrelevant of what the look's going to be. You know what I mean? And I think they just push and push and push for those numbers, especially when it comes to, like, I know not so much a PCA, but like the super heavy mark and all that sort of stuff. Everyone just wants to be within those brackets, don't they?
Because Dan wasn't over muscled on stage. That was
No,
not
he
the
actually
case
looked,
at all.
he looked small for him. Like, he didn't look, when he came out, that most muscular, when he hits the most muscular, you just think, what the fuck? It's so much muscle. He didn't look like that. So,
It'll be interesting to hear him run through it, because there must have been a major.
yeah, and that's what I mean.
Also-
Like, we'll wait till he's ready to come on and tell us what went on.
Also, as well, we need to remember, like, and I can say this because I'm also the same. Dan's a bit of a flapper in his own head, and we all know what that can do to you hormonally. Like, if you lose your fucking head and it goes, it will destroy
Listen.
the look within minutes.
I have to say, I feel Dan for a little bit, yeah, because I did it 2019, yeah. And when your head goes and that cortisol goes bare high, bruv, and you're just trying to do kooky fucking mental shit backstage, and bro, the look goes to the shit, bruv. Yeah? And then you're just chasing this dragon, mate, for half an hour pre-stage, looking like a bag of shit. That's what ended up happening, bruv.
He just looked like he just wanted to go home. And I said to him, look, I can completely relate to that, because I felt that way on my show day when I just didn't even want to be on stage. I just wanted to fucking, when people go, "Do you enjoy it?" I'm like, no, I couldn't enjoy it because I didn't look how I want it to look.
Yeah, and for people who haven't competed, like, everyone will know this. That's the most disheartening thing in it. Like, people do, and specifically for people as well who really do get in shape, like the ones that really do push to be skin, and then you don't deliver the look, and it's not a gimmick or in your head, the look that you know you're capable of. That's the most disheartening thing, you know.
And like you say, there's nothing worse if you're short, you know you've got that.
Yeah.
You then got that bit like, I don't want to get on stage, but my family's, my mates are, everybody's made the effort, but I know I look shit. You know, do I just fuck off? Do I let everybody down? Do I get up there, not look my best? Maybe, you know, like, that tit for tat must be awful.
We also, because of his most muscularity as well, though, we also forget. I don't think Dan's actually competed that many times, has he? He did the junior show way back when, which was like his breakout years, you like, as a junior. And isn't this like his second lot of run of shows?
Yeah, pretty much.
2018?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
2019?
That was, and then he done finals against that Jay Maid.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
then then this year, that's been it.
To see that taking breaks from Instagram, not wanting this stress, like, didn't look like you. Like, I was speaking to him a couple of weeks before, and he's like, I don't look at my own checking pictures. So his bird takes the pictures, his bird sends them to Tom, he doesn't look at himself. And I'm like, hang on a minute, when you're on the nitty gritty bit, right, I fucking loved running through my pictures and looking and being like, you seen that there? Look at that there. Like, there seemed to be a lot of enjoyment taken away from it. You shouldn't be. And I think this is the problem. People are so focused on the result and where they're going to place. They're missing the fact that, and I say this over and over again, don't I? They're missing the fact that really you should be enjoying all of it. And then where you place is just people's fucking opinions. Like, who gives a shit? You know what I mean?
yeah, and
If you look at it like that, like for me, I suppose the big thing for me is I never would have expected to win a show. I've said this to you before. So there was never that stress for me. So, like, for me, as the shows got better, I was like, I'm £2 heavier. Lads, fucking look at this morning. Here, Deck, come here. Look at this. Riz, look at this light in here. Remember showing Deck at the show and being like, lads, quick. Fucking look at this light in here. Like, part of the enjoyment enjoying it. I was looking at myself and being like, whoa,
Yeah.
I haven't seen. Dick, fucking hell, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Get your ass up. Come and
Yeah.
see how I look in the fucking mirror now. Like,
Hilly, I'm still twisted. Fuck off.
I think the big.
if you're not getting that, and not looking at your own pictures and you're not doing this, that pressure and that fun, where is it? Do you know what I mean?
I think what makes it hard as well is we have to all remember one thing. Yeah, none of our partners prep, so we're very lucky in that situation. So imagine you're in a house where there's 2, you're groggy, 2, you're tired,
and
2, you're
his
fucking.
missus is sick. Like that and then whether you like it or not, it's a thing men will think about. It's the same when your missus earns more money than you. If she has a higher, I suppose, profile in bodybuilding, she's a pro and that sort of stuff, you're going to feel that a little bit, aren't you?
Because she is sliced.
I remember years ago going to see a girl in Scotland that I'd been having a bit of crack with. I remember getting there, it's the first time I met her. Mate, and she had way better abs than me. I came home and said, "Lads, I ain't going back up there." No chance.
But can you imagine prepping, yeah, and then your wife misses whatever is prepping, yeah? You're both groggy, you're both prepping at the same time, you're both aggy. Fuck that.
Is it me though? Like, I think there's an element of that I think might be a positive though, because like you both understand. Like, honestly, the thing that gets to me in prep, and you can call me wet if you want or whatever, is like towards the end I start feeling for Daisy. I know that I'm being cold. I've got no emotion. I'm not doing anything fun. I don't want to look at her, touch her. I don't want her anywhere near me. I just want to go out and fucking walk, do my cardio, eat, and go to sleep. Do you know what I mean? I think if I've got someone else who's going through the same thing as me, it's kind of less stress. You just know you're both going to get the job done.
But I think
Ryan and his Mrs. Amy done the universe last year, and they both done it together, and they both documented it on YouTube, and it was really good for both of them. And because they're prepping separately this year, it's not the same. Like, so it depends on, it's person dependent.
Yeah, it's going to be relationship dependent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I know some people like that can't prep together. They're like, no way. And then I know some couples that can prep each other, that can't prep each other. And like what Riz says is very, I think for some people will be absolutely bang on. But then what Dex says will be bang on for some, because like I see the positives. Well, neither of us can eat fuck all, so make sure there's no shit in the house. Whereas I've got Charlotte bringing in pizza every other fucking night. But then on the flip side, I also like Dex says, what I should have done this time and what I will do when I do another show. This is my job. I'm a coach. I compete. It's all hand in hand. I took the girls to Dubai for a month at 8 weeks out. What I really should have done at 2 weeks out is either gone to stay in New Jordan or booked an apartment somewhere, and I should have been like, right, girls, you went away for a month on a holiday. Now I'm going to work away for 2 weeks because like what Dex says is really right. Like I was getting a bit not snappy, but things were irritating me more. Everything was a bit hard at work. At 10 days out, sat on the floor with Arlena, and she's chucking tea cakes at me, and all I want to do is eat a tea cake, and I'm giving it fucking milk, chocolate cream like eggs. And like I was a bit like, will you just behave, baby, or Charlotte, or a bit cold, and then I'd feel bad about myself because I'd been a bit off. Where really, I should have just been like, listen, this is my job. We've had a family holiday. I'm just going to stay in the pan for 2 weeks, no problems. Do you know what I mean?
But do you also think it comes back to this, the fact that Dan had a very long time off? Yeah? As let's just say we had a 3-year off season. Instead, he could have done 6 months prep, 6 months off, 6 months prep. Do you think that would have then kept him more? What's the word for it? More like prime, more prime.
Let's ring rust, like with your boxing. You know what I mean? You get a bit of ring rust if you haven't put it. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Because that first prep you did initially, the first show would have just been eased in, when he should have had that stage. What's the word? Presence 2 years ago. But done it every year, and just get better.
He was going to prep in 21, I think, because back in 21 he was prepping with Kuba, and I was doing some posing sessions with him, and we were both dieting at the same time. So he was going to do that, but he pulled out of that show. So he was meant to compete in 21.
I think you're definitely right, Rich, because of all the pictures I've seen of that. I don't think he was ever all of the way down where he should have been. Like, you could see some striations here and there, but he didn't seem to have the sharpness and the detail in anything I saw that you would have expected from someone that you see in his missus.
Do you think it's the fear of going flat, Hilly? Because that, you know, when you flat, you have that, like, you know, you need to fill up, but you have that crisp gnarliness to you. And I understand what you're saying. He didn't have that look.
No, my honest thing is, and it runs in line with what Wiz is saying, I think taking that much time off, even if you're doing mini cuts and coming up and down, I think the skin gets thicker. I've always been a big believer in, you obviously have all your normal sub-Q fat and blah, blah, blah. But I do believe there's a layer of skin under the fat that you have to get down. Then you have to stay down. You have to push it at awful flat limits. And I think that the longer you spend holding body fat, the thicker that becomes. It's apparent in the look. You tend to see the guys that compete more often, they tend to have a much more paper-thin look than the guys that take. And obviously this is person dependent. Like my own body type, I always tend to get a very thin skin look. But also for my very first show, my second show, I over dieted, as I've said before. But I just think for a big guy who's had that much time, it might make sense to go down and do a show, then sit, come up a little, level off, stay, and then come off the way down again. You know, that much time.
Do you know what I think it is? I think you've got to remember, like, Dan's only 26.
Exactly.
So age is going to be a factor. So that's one factor. Remember, you've done so many more preps than Dan. Like, so that's one factor. And also, Dan was under 200 pounds in 2019. So, you know, in those 3 years, 2 years really, because he's prepped all 2023. So you got, you know, 2019 end off. So you got 2020, 2021, 20. So kind of 3 years, right? He put on, what, 40 pounds, 45, 50 pounds of muscle. So that muscle, you know, it's not going to look the same as if you've held that muscle for 6 years.
But surely if he'd put on, I'm not knocking Dan, yeah? I'm not saying this the right way or the wrong way. I'm just trying to think about it, yeah? If we were to do an off-season 6 months, put on 10 pounds, take off 5, and then gradually over 3 years, you put on 15 pounds.
I don't think he would have done that. I don't think he would have put on that much size had he competed so many times.
I think it is possible, bro, because you get the rebound, don't you, after the show as well?
I agree with Chudley. I don't think he would have put on that much mass. I just think after being that heavy for that long, if he don't say the first, then he sat lean a bit, and he don't want to do the uni. Just stay lean, build my food up slowly, and then I'm going to do the finance, and I'm going to make sure inside and then I'll do. But again, this is all potential possibilities.
It's all speculation. We're not saying he's done this yet.
Yeah, I'm with Riz. I'm in Riz's camp, and I think let's speak if Dan was or let's not lose Dan. If person X was my client who's put on that much weight for in 3 years, as an example, within that 3 years, I am absolutely getting him within striking distance of being on stage, so we can understand actually how much muscle he has, and that's not like close to. That's like all the way, so we can understand, right, you're now at 215, 220 stage ready. Let's push back up for another 10 pounds. We know you're going to be competitive with 10 more pounds of tissue with this look. And I think that's where the benefit comes in, to getting there or putting them on stage, or at least getting close enough so you can understand where you need to add the muscle to. Like, because when you're soft, everyone knows this, when you're fully blown and soft, it's really hard to see, like, where do I need to add muscle? Like, do I need to bring my legs up? Do I need to put a bit more on my chest? Do I need to bring my arms up? Because it's hidden by fullness, glycogen storage, the use of anabolics, nitrogen retention, all that sort of stuff. So coming all the way down, there's always a benefit to it, isn't there?
Yeah.
I think saying that, though, that's the physical side of it. And we know bodybuilding, a lot of it is mental. And Dan handles bodybuilding mentally very similarly to, I wouldn't say to me, because I think Dan's worse than me, because he takes that like it's a fucking battle. Like, to him, prep is like it's a fucking battle. It's like all or nothing. And I think to handle that for months on end,
it's not healthy, though. It doesn't work. Like, anyone who's played sports or being competitive at a high level will understand that doesn't fucking work. There is nobody in the elite of MMA, boxing, football, rugby, whatever it may be, that has the ability to have that, like, I'm going to destroy every mindset, because it will exhaust your body before you're even competitive.
It's
Because, bro,
mentally exhausting, yeah.
It destroys you. If anyone's boxed before, I'm telling you now, the person who's their temper in a boxing ring is getting knocked out. That is an absolute
Yeah.
fact.
bro, I agree because I've been. Do you know? As you get older, when I was younger, going to the gym angry was wicked. But as I've got older, I can't do that no more. I have to go gym happy.
Yeah.
When I'm happy, things just tick and click and stuff. When I'm angry, shit fucks up real quick.
Even how he lifts, when you look at Dan train,
It's
he
terrifying.
trains like he's about to fucking kill you.
Yeah, but you got to remember as well, Dan spent a lot of time with JP when he's very, very younger days, or he's like 17, 18.
Yeah.
The lad's been built by JP, yeah? And he's taken that extreme from JP. Not everyone got their own way to training. I think a lot of it's based on that really high aggression. And
I was fascinated by Dan's forum post back in the day on the train by JP. I was like, who the fuck is this 12-year-old monster? Like, it was ridiculous. I remember his progress photos he was putting up all the time, just slapping ridiculous amounts of muscle on.
The guy has put the work in. No one can take that away from him. He has put the fucking graft in.
The other thing is, although you probably won't see it now, this will only make him a way better bodybuilder.
Fact.
Because he's got all of the tissue, he's got all of the work ethic, he's got all of the knowledge. You know, losing only makes you better. It never makes you worse. It doesn't make.
If losing makes you worse, this sport is not for you.
Yeah. And ain't it nice to see, like, at the end, everyone's amicable. There's no, like, my coach is a cunt, I want to kill him, everyone fucked me over, I'm not responsible in any way, shape, or form, I do everything I need to do. Like, his posts were really amicable about it, I thought, to everybody.
I respect that a lot.
Yeah,
I respect that a lot.
Yeah.
But what I was saying was, you know, regarding when... This is a fact here. I heard JP once say, he goes, when two of you are prepping in the same household, one always takes over. One will get more of the attention. That's why it's best to do a prep separately, because the one who's not... It's like he did this last show. We're all on his case. We're at the show, we're making sure he sit down, we'll get you food, we'll do your tan, just chill out. But if we're all prepping, we'll all be like, oh, we all need tan, we all need this.
Dave, you never say anything like it. Hilly at a fucking show. You try and get this cunt to sit down. Fuck me, mate. It's like he's on 58 lines of whip. He's just doing steps. He's just stomping. I'm here to sit down.
Bro, just sit down. Just sit down.
Can't stop moving.
Just helping everybody.
Because when he walks, his legs go.
Yeah, it's fluid bad. Right, what we're moving on to next, boys?
So we got shitload of questions. I don't know if you guys got any questions, but I got about 30 of them.
Yeah, I got some questions as well.
Yeah. I don't know if you wanted to cover that. We got to cover anything else? So we've done L-carnitine, we've done Universe.
On the Cali Pro, I just thought this Ross Flanagan's physique is just an absolute madness. Riz, can you pull it up? Like,
he literally came out of nowhere, didn't he?
There is.
What am I searching into Instagram?
Search for Ross Flanagan. You'll see what I mean.
Or he does the sauces, doesn't he? He does the
yeah, that's it. Do you know, I've followed him for a long time.
Yeah.
What about going on the buys and tries Instagram or something?
Yeah, that might help.
Yeah, I'll do that.
But I followed him for a long time, and if I'm not mistaken, they found out he had something really wrong with him. Like, Hilly, you might want to correct me with this. Is there a thing called like chromium disease or something? Like, there's a chromium, like something to do with like metals in the body or something. But he had something in it. He had a bit of time off and then pulled his midsection in. But just his lower half is a fucking madness.
Right, who am I talking about, boys?
That guy there, you were highlighted on there.
Here?
Yeah. Look at his fucking legs, man.
Yeah, it's mental.
He's all right.
His side shots are so impressive because from the front, it doesn't look like he's going to be that dense from the side. When he spins around now.
And this video's doing him no favours. He was inside out nice.
Like, watch this when he hits his side chest.
And he was having so much fun up there as well.
Mate, when he won as well, you should have seen his celebration. Look at this. Look at his hamstring.
Watch this shot. Look at the chest thickness of the down.
Look at that.
Yeah, look at the leg. Fucking rough hamstring. Yeah, he's really good. I still like this guy. Yeah,
yeah, man.
Monster, bro. He's only 26.
He's actually my pal. So when I first started prepping, he slid into my DMs. He's actually from his family are from England. Then they moved to America. And we use a DM all the time. This is like way before he was jacked and massive, and now he's just completed bodybuilding, and I'm just a shit amateur still.
And now he's like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's not like a full-time bodybuilder. Like, he's got a career, like all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. He's only just coming into his own with bodybuilding, so his potential is nuts.
You can tell this is still young muscle, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that was the difference between him and that Antonio. Is like Antonio's just got that fullness pop to him.
This
This
picture's
is, hey, if there's any dude you want to walk down the beach looking like, it's that motherfucker, innit? Look at him.
here is all of them.
Sergio's a monster, isn't he? Sergio is.
I don't like it.
I hate the way he kicks his leg out in a front double. Like, why are you doing that?
Well, didn't he just fly back? So he obviously made a post up saying he's stressed out, and so that's probably why he didn't look.
The thing with Sergio is, I think when you're at that level and you've got your dad's name, people will always compare you to your dad.
Do you reckon? I don't think that's true. I don't know if I believe that, because I still think people look at him as his own physique.
I don't think so, bro.
Yeah.
Loads of it. I think we don't see maybe as much of it because we're not in America.
Yeah.
Mm.
He's a big dude, though, isn't he? Like 280 pounds on stage in that condition. That is a fucking big guy.
What Chudley says, right, though, I do believe he only got to go ahead to travel like 48 hours from Dubai.
Yeah, it was 24 hours. It was one day because he was involved in that incident where some dude died by crashing into his car, so they took his passport away from him. He was only in jail in Dubai about a month ago.
Yeah.
But he just got out when I was there.
Yeah.
I think that what's the black guy's name again?
Antonio.
He's like Dexter Jackson, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking, he's not weak anywhere, really.
No, I do.
Back could be better.
I get what they're saying though. Like in those smaller shows, I think he smokes everyone. But I think in like the Olympics, he's going to get. You can even see against like that beef stew, he is a lot smaller than these dudes. But on his own, he's very pretty.
12, didn't he? So
Yeah.
you know, and you got to remember, like he's still sort of like shorter, so that's going to play a factor.
What they were saying on Fired's podcast is his worry is for him to put on the tissue to then be competitive with the bigger guys. Does that then blow his lines out? That's where you've got it.
He does. He's got that round belly, hasn't he? He's got like, you can tell if he pushed it, he's going to get like the small but very firm round belly, you know?
Like Dexter once had many years ago. He went through that stage.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, do you stay like that and just keep cleaning up the smaller shows?
Easy. Yeah, it's
God,
money.
I'm wrong with that.
You're just taking
I
all the
think
money
that's
home, aren't you?
Be like Dexter, just compete for years and years and years, and just one day might win it.
He was at the Olympia last year, though. That's the thing, you know.
He was outside the top 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't get looking, so he couldn't have improved that much.
If he takes a Dexter approach where he just tries to add 3, 4, 5 pound every year, nice and slow, nice and relaxed, does that then keep his waist instead of being like, right, I was outside the 15 last year, this year I was 14, I'm going to take a year out, I'm going to go all in. That's when you explode your waist. Whereas if he's just like, right, this year, let's focus on this, 3 or 4 pound next year, 3 or 4 pound next year. If he does that allow him to keep his midsection smaller than you see?
But you don't think, like, when people say, "Oh, if he grows and puts on 10 pounds," like, do you not think he's trying? Like, do you not think these guys are trying to gain as much?
There is like, there's like a line. There's a line to grow to put 2 or 3 pounds a year on, and then there's that line of force feeding, so you're always distended every day to put 10 pounds on. I think that's what people aren't. I think that's what people like that aren't willing to do at times. You know.
Yeah. And what I mean, back in the day, was if you were stuck there, you were like, right, outside the top 15, I'm going to be in that top 10. You would get on the blower. Me lots of chat. And they'd come up with all this mad shit that would put you on. But that is sort of like, was fine, said it was, said it was fine. One chat, one news, and like, this and this. Just watch the way it's happening. Yeah, everything else.
Yeah.
A lot of the critics will say, "Oh, you should gain another £10." Do they never think maybe that person's just happy at where they're at,
That's what
and
I was gonna say.
maybe it's just, bro. If I could be top 20 out of fucking shit pro show, I'd be well happy, bro.
Bro, and who do you think's gonna look better fucking in swimming shorts, Antonio or fucking one of the 300-pound guys? Antonio, 100% of the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you got to think, like, let's just say you're Antonio right now. You're about 30 mid-30s, yeah. Thinking, right, do I really push the boat? Potentially leave my kids, my wife, without a dad. What for? To get an extra £7 on stage? Kill myself over what? Is it really worth it?
There's that.
So everyone used to say to Jamie all the time, "Oh, if Jamie gets another £10, Jamie's like, Riz, I'm 350 in the off season. I can't be 370. I'll be dead."
Yeah.
It's easily said, isn't it? Where everyone, be £10 bigger, be it's fucking. I mean.
Shall we move on to questions?
Yeah.
Who wants to start?
Well, do you want to do one, then Deck does one, then you do one, because I haven't got any.
Okay. Who's starting? Do you want me to start?
Well, then if you've got one, kids, go on.
Right. That's probably a question for Hilly, because I don't know if any of us would know. Got bloods done running 450 test and 800 primo. Liver enzymes came back much higher than ever. Could this be possibly a solvent in the oil? Liver values 4 times the range.
Was that
Just
200?
primo and test.
So 450 test and 800 primo, and liver enzymes came back 4 times the amount they normally do.
It's very. I suppose we would need more information on the sense of, is that 4 times the normal range that they are on a cycle?
Yes, 4 times range. Yeah, 4 times. So probably what, 200? 250 odd?
What I mean, sorry, is what we're missing was his last cycle 300 milligrams of testing, it was fine. Now he's gone to over a gram, and now it's at 200. Because you see, it's about when he's saying the normally, is he saying the normally in range on cycle, and all of a sudden
came back much higher than ever.
Maybe he's using more drugs than ever, and he's just not metabolizing it properly. Like,
Yes.
Has he been on antibiotics? Has he been on paracetamol, aspirin, blah, blah, blah? Has he been ill?
Yeah.
That would be my first question. Is you've been partying a lot? That's the B, because that's extreme in my experience for testing primo alone. Even 800 mgs of primo, but that to skyrocket liver values by 4 times if you're normally within range. I would be looking at to say, if he was in my right here, I'd say, okay, mate, how many D-ball are you taking about telling us, or how much you drink on the weekend?
And not just that as well. What I've seen quite a lot with people is when they've been ill and they've taken antibiotics and they've taken flu meds and they've taken other stuff like that, the actual impact that has, because what you can think about is, if your liver is already being stressed from the antibiotics, even though, so say you might have done the cycle before, right, and it's only put his ALT at 60 or 80. There's nothing stressful about that, like that's fine, right? But if it's already stressed, and then you start adding in some paracetamol, some ibuprofen because you've been to the dentist, then you've had the flu, that all has an accumulation effect on an already stressed liver. So you'll tend to find the value increase is bigger in my experience. So and most people don't even think about that. They're like, oh, well actually, yeah, I was at the doctor's and I was at the dentist and I've been taking some paracetamol. And like I had a client a month or 2 ago, his came back and when we went through it, he'd been poorly for a week with something, so he'd been taking cold meds, he'd been taking something else, then he'd gone, I think then he'd gone to the dentist and he'd had tooth issues, so then he was taking painkillers, and it was that accumulation effect that actually spiked the ALT and AST levels.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't actually understand yet how much normal medication hits your liver, bruv.
I had this really recently with a client. So we did blood at the end of his blast. A little bit out of range, but not terrible. Like even to the point if someone was on a cruise, I'd be willing to put them back on cycle. He went on cruise for about, I would say, 10 to 12 weeks. We got bloods done again. His liver enzymes were through the roof. He had kidney issues, and I said to him, "What are you taking, mate?" Like, but the weirdest thing was in his pictures, I could see the look had softened. So I was confident he wasn't hammering out a gear. It turns out he'd been running naproxen for 5 weeks due to a lower back injury Aunt told me about, and it just destroyed his liver enzymes. It's ridiculous.
The other thing is something that I've seen on myself before. I never realised the stupidest of seconds. I never realised how much one good day a night on the drink would actually escalate my liver values, right? So my livers, I'm very lucky, never really get stressed. I'd gone out with the lads on a bank holiday Sunday, totally last minute, and got bloods done on the Thursday. My ELT came back about 198. It has never been that high on anything I've ever taken before then or afterwards. Sometimes people don't, or sometimes people really underestimate the fact that they're out on Saturday night and they might have had 8 or 9 pints and they'll end up getting their bloods done last minute on a Tuesday and they don't factor that in.
Next question.
Right. Discuss farm versus generic GH. I know Hilly made a switch to farm with AJ, not sure about the rest of the crew.
Me and Chuds use Janae, right? I use Adelphi.
So we've all switched in the last, how long would you say, Riz? What, like 6 weeks?
4 weeks? 6 weeks, yeah.
4 weeks? Yeah?
Yeah, but... Yeah. 50-50 split.
Sorry, lads, what did I miss? What was the question? Sorry.
Generic growth versus farm. I know Hilly switched to farm with AJ, not sure about everyone else. What's the thoughts? What would you, how would you rate it? What's the difference?
So for me, what I've done is, everybody's always had this debate, and I've had this debate. Is farm really worth the expense? Is it not? I have run Pharma growth before in a prep with 2 IU, 3.5 IU. I definitely noticed that I held less water throughout the prep, which gave me better visuals. But I never thought there was a justification for it. AJ has been completely adamant, nothing will do but Pharma. So then what I've done with some clients who are also in prep, quite high level, because if they're in prep, we have a really set environment to pull things and change things. One client, I just pulled the Chinese out. He was getting a little bit of gyno and he was holding a bit of fluid. That went completely. So whatever that version of generic was doing, it was obviously causing a spike, which growth hormone can to a point in progesterone, maybe prolactin, right? I then left that out for 2 weeks. We then put him back on the same dose of Pharma. He got fuller, he looked leaner, but no gyno came back. So what that tells me is the Pharma grade is definitely cleaner and it's definitely having a different impact on hormones to the Chinese. So especially when you're in prep, when you don't want these hormones high, never mind year round, Pharma is the better choice. Then another one of my high level clients who just won the overall at one of the 2 Bro shows, we just directly like for like his dose from Chinese to Pharma grade. He got leaner, he got drier, he got fuller. So for me there is myself, a white skinned gentleman. There is 2 darker skinned gentlemen, all in prep, all under my control. I sent them both my Pharma grade GH that has walked out of a pharmacy. So there's no variance in the growth. There's no variance in the setting. One, we did a like for like. The other one, we pulled it out. We left it, monitored it, then we put back in. In all 3 environments, there was a noticeable favourable change from using pharmacy to generic. I didn't have any water. I was able to hold it in till the Wednesday before both shows. Now, I took a higher dose. I was taking 6 IU a day. I've only had them taking 3 IU a day. For me personally, I don't feel there was a benefit in terms of ratio to cost of using twice the amount. Now, I definitely might have held a bit more fullness taking the 6IU, but again, comparing a 200 quid a month bill or 250 quid a month bill to a 500 quid a month bill, I would rather just not have the fullness, personally. Now, when you listen to, and the other thing for me in terms of anecdotal, Chris Aceto, Milos Sarchev, and Stuart Jenkins, three of the best coaches in the world, I have heard them all categorically say or seen them right. Do not take Chinese, only take Pharma. Then I have listened to several podcasts, on Fayed's podcast and others, where more than several, top IFBB pros from time ago up until present day have all said they've categorically noticed the difference between Chinese and pharmacy, and they will all only use pharmacy. Seth Feroci, who goes right the way back in the day, he did a podcast with Fayed a year or two ago. He was like, tell you what, Fayed, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to put down in my pocket for that Chinese before that shit. I've been running 5IU from it. Holy fucking hell, my body's changed. So for me, I've got categorical data with the same growth hormone pens with my clients locked in a set environment. Three of the best coaches in the world. More than several top bodybuilders, all saying the same shit. Don't use Chinese, only use Pharma.
If funds are available, right?
Yes. So, well, for me now, I am of the opinion that I will only use Pharma, and if I haven't got the money for Pharma, I may very well not even use Chinese, to be honest. That's where my mindset is now. Yeah. And I'm saying that to clients too.
I think it's night and day difference. Like, since I've switched, it doesn't even compare. It's like you're taking something else. It's like you're taking a different thing. The pumps, I've never felt pumps like it.
I'm going to go down a different route this one, and I think I can for one reason. I think those Balkan generics that I've got are very fucking good, and I can explain why. I'm going to name brands, and I know people are affiliated with brands, and if people want to fight me, they can fight me, but obviously I was running the Adelphi generics for a long period of time. I swapped the Adelphi generics out for these Balkan ones. I gained 4 pounds in 5 days, and I dropped water. It was very visible, the fullness, okay? And I've ran them ever since for about, I would say about 8 weeks now. I started getting hold of them. Then I got hold of the Pharma grade, and I kept the dosing at 4 IUs of Chinese, and I put 2 IUs of Pharma in the morning. But what I did do, because I explained that I didn't want to change too many variables because I want to see the positive effect. But what I did do is change where I was adding the generics in. Does that make sense? So I would do like 2 in the morning and 2 with the Pharma in the morning, and then I would do 2 pre-workout. Or then I would just do the Pharma in the morning, then 4 pre-workout, and vice versa. Try and understand like where they benefit me and the changes so I could see them. Now, noticeably for me, with the Pharma grade, I am a hell of a lot drier. I'm more tired, I'm sleepy, and I can feel it that my joints are the best they've ever been, especially my knees. Like, I got some old man fucking chocolate knees, and I can really feel the difference. But I just feel, in general, my well-being is better. Does that make sense? Now, when I was doing 2 IUs and of the Pharma and generics in the morning, I was blasting full. Okay? When I stopped putting the generics in the morning, I was full but not blasting full. But the moment I put those 4 IUs in pre-workout, I'm as round as a fucking house. So I don't know if it's the fact that the generics are very good generics, or they are some sort of, I don't know, compound or peptide that is driving intracellular fullness. I do not know. But I have definitely noticed my fat loss started at a very, very fast rate. And me and Hilly have made some changes for 3 or 4 weeks now. So I know there's no variable that's gone in that made that adjustment. So I'm definitely getting tighter. My skin's better, that's for sure. It just looks a bit cleaner and crisper, if that makes sense. But I think I'm going to conclude it with this. I think there are good generics. I do. I think there are shit generics. But I do think the Pharma and generics are not comparable in the sense of well-being. Cost benefit for me, would I potentially look to run 6 IUs of Pharma for the cost and drop out the generics? I don't think so. I think I always keep the base of generics in because I just feel good on them, I look good on them, and then use a Pharma in the morning. That's kind of my conclusion.
Yeah, see, I'm in two minds here because obviously not everybody can afford the Genos and the Serostim and all this bollocks, right? It's a lot of money. It's like what, 150, 180 quid per
Yeah, but
pen?
leave money out because they're just asking
Okay.
money aside. Because I
Right.
tell you what, like I went straight in with 6 because we were all chatting on our group and we were talking about like what do we do, and I just thought, fuck it, I'm just going to go straight in with 6. So I started off with 222, and then I said I was just feeling really tired all day long. I just felt super tired, and so Healy said, you said last time, and you said try switch it out to taking 3 pre-workout and 3 before bed, and that's
It's
worked
important
really
to
well.
mention that you train in the morning. That's the biggie.
I train in the morning, yeah. So I take it with my first meal. I take it like 9 o'clock, train about 10:30, 10-ish, and I'll take it before bed. And I've been really good. That's worked really well. So that switch has been really beneficial.
Do you find that the tiredness is like a real weird tiredness? It's like it's a legitimate tiredness. It's like I ran a marathon. Like I'm exhausted. But when you do sleep, it's like a baby.
The grogginess on it's mental, bro. Not grogginess, it's like this. You have to sleep.
Yeah, that's what I would call it. That's what I'd call it. Grogginess. That is what I would call it.
I will take it 9 o'clock, and if I overdo, I've also lowered my carbs pre-workout. That's also helped. If I do, say, 120 grams of cream of rice with just whey and not like nothing else, I just go to sleep. I'll go to sleep for like 3 or 4 hours, and it's like not like a nap. It's like a fucking sleep.
Yeah.
I will say, I agree with what Dick said. We were using the Meditrop. If you can get good Chinese generics, then they are good. With the Meditrop, you held a lot of fluid with them, but it was cellular fullness, it was pump. They were good for the off season. Everybody, lots of top UK bodybuilders at one point, they were all fucking running them. Everybody rated them. I just think the reason that I would slide towards the pharmacy is funds allowing. You know what you're getting most of the time.
Every single pen, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, like back in the day, we used to get hydrotropins. Right? Me and Jordan used to order a fair amount. You would get a batch of good ones and a batch of shit ones. And then when you work out how much money you're losing, right, on buying the Chinese, if you end up buying 3 kits at 130 quid a kit, right, and they're all shit, would it have been better to just half your dose and take Pharma, knowing that at least what you're getting is actually what you're getting? It's a very hard debate because, again, for me, I truly believe, and I've seen this, that you can get, if you were in a diet phase, 1.5 IU growth. Well, 1 IU to 1.5 will maximise lipolysis. So you only need 1 to 1.5 IU. That's only a pen and a half, right? Now, if you were trying to grow, most people would say you need 3 or 4. However, in medical literature, they give 5. There's a couple of studies out there that are giving 5 to 7 IU. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which is a dosing schedule I prefer in the off season. It helps prevent an insulin resistance build-up. You get a bigger spike of IGF. So say you start 5 IU Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which I've done. That doesn't work out that much more, does it? What's that?
No.
15 IU.
15 IU a week.
So you need 2 pens. So say you've got a decent source and you want 2.5 a pen, you're at 250 a month. You know, and again, everybody of our funds are different, but would I rather spend 130, 150 quid a month on Chinese, running 5 IU a day, and risk wasting it? Or would I prefer to spend 250 quid a month, it's only another 100 quid, knowing fine well what I am getting is doing the fucking job, and run 5 IU at a medical dose that's been proven to be worked Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And guys, like, just to add that, I have spent a long time arguing about myself. No, it's not really worth it, no. There are people that say, as long as it's growth, it's the same shit. But they're the people that haven't actually put the hand in the pocket and run farmers, right? For me, I have put my hand in my pocket and I have run 2 or 3 IUs in a prep 3 or 4 years ago. It was the leanest I ever got. And don't get me wrong, My own physique doesn't warrant 6 IU of Pharma a day, right? I'll tell you that now. However, as a coach, and I would class myself as a pretty reasonably high-level good coach, it is my job to find out if it is worth doing these things. So when I've got high-level athletes, like when I work with Riz now, when I work with Deck, if I took 6 IU a day and I went, holy shit, then when Deck's going all in next year, and when he's working towards his pro card, if I can categorically say to Deck, or Jane, or whoever it is, listen, we know I ran that, and we saw the fucking difference, then when you were trying to get that card and you were trying to be the best, maybe it's worth saving the money,
Yeah.
putting it aside every month.
12 IU a day.
12 IU a day. Yeah, but then that's where you've got to make this, as a coach, it's important that I know. So now I can say to my guys, listen, I don't think it's worth you spending that much on 6 IU. I think that it is worth spending the money on 3 IU because I've been up to 6. I've done 3. I've done it with clients. We didn't see a difference. Now, one thing I haven't done, I haven't run 6 IU in a growth phase. So AJ wants me right back at 6 IU. Now, initially I was like, nah, fuck that, I'm not spending the money. Then the coach in me is like, well, hang on a minute. You still haven't done that, have you? So I'm going to spend the money. I'm going to stick on it. And then I will be able to say, after 5 or 6 months, listen, guys, do you know what? It wasn't worth having that extra cost in the diet phase. But I tell you what, with some gear and food in there, holy motherfucker of God. So when I've got a client that comes to me and is like, Hilly, money is not an issue. What is the goal? Is this? You tell me what the fuck I need to do to get there as fast as possible. I can say, well, then this is what we're going to do. I have never been one, as you guys know, for saying, well, I've never done it, but such and such said it works. Well, I've never done it, but I've read 9 different books. And if I take this paragraph from this book, and this paragraph from this book, and this reference from here, and these reference from rabbits, and these reference from pet fucking guinea pigs, we can all put them together and say, this looks really pretty on paper and it sounds good. Every time I give anybody advice, anytime I give anybody recommendations, it is because, first and foremost, I have done it with myself. Then I have tried it with close friends that are clients because I know I get more feedback. I like to be the person that gives information, my opinion, based on real life fact that is then backed by some science. Not just loads of fucking clever science or shit that I've never done. So there's just mine.
We could do an experiment. Chuds, I'll send you a kit of this stuff. Let's let a 2-day drop off, see how much weight drops by. Put a generic back in. Take 2 sets of pictures, same dosages, and see the difference.
See, this is why I started on 6 straight away, because I was running 6 of the generic. So I thought, right, I'm going to just replace it. Then I'm going to run that for 4 to 6 weeks, see how I look, see what the effects are, and then I'm going to replace it 3 and 3 with the generic back in, see if that makes any difference.
Well, totally. And this is why bodybuilding, this is why I love having you guys as friends, because you're into it as much as I am. So why not first drop back off 3 or 4 for 4 weeks to see if you notice a difference? Because then you can say to yourself, do you know what, Hilly? You were fucking right, actually, mate. I'm still in an off season. Things are pretty much the same. I didn't notice a difference between that 2 or 3 IU. Then what you can do, you can then put the generics off Deck in, you know are good. And then you can say, fucking hell, Deck, you were right. Actually, Hilly, here's a bit of information for you. What worked really fucking well was keeping the pharmacy in the AM or before bed. Because this is the other thing. Say you're in a growth phase, right? Say that, and this is how me and Deck came up with what he's doing now. So say you're in a growth phase. You don't want to hold a shit ton of water because it'll make you feel bad. But a little bit of fullness and leverage around training from the generics might be fun. It'll help, right? So let's take 1.5 IU of Pharma on the morning before your fasted cardio, because that's going to boost lipolysis for the cardio. That might help you stay a bit leaner. Then we're going to put 1.5 IU of the Pharma in before bed, because we know the body produces more growth hormone at bed than any other time of the day. So we can categorically say that that's the time we want it there for recovery, yeah? Then, well, when would we not mind a little bit of water influx, a bit of a bit more leverage in the gym. Okay, so then let's put the 3 IU or 4 IU generics before training, where we get more water retention, more leverage in the gym, and that's the conclusion. That's where my mindset was when me and Deck discussed it. Then you might come back and say, "Fucking hell, lads, your thinking was right." Yeah, I didn't notice much from 6 to 3 or 6 to 4, but I tell you what, in this growth phase, putting that dose in before bed, my lifts have gone up, my recovery's gone up, my fullness has gone up, and then in a prep situation, you don't really want that because you don't want the look to be skewed, you don't want the volumization. But in an off season, you can go fucking hell to leather, and you could even titrate that dose up if you wanted, and then you can get all clever with all sorts of other shit. And this is the part that I love, where we're all feeding it. Me and Jordan lived for this shit. Me and Jordan would be like, right, well, you try this, I'll try this, let's try this, what worked, what didn't, what did that coach have you do, what did that coach? This is the fun part for me. The gathering information, what did you find, Chudley, what did you find? Because we all know what we're taking is real, good.
Yeah.
And we all know that we're good with our eating, we're good with our lifestyles, we're good with our training. So we're about as fucking good of a scientific study in this shit as we're gonna fucking get. Do you know what I mean?
I think one thing you need to put out there is a lot of people ask questions about growth hormone, yeah, thinking that it's going to do some magical thing to your physique, bruv. Listen, let's stick to your test and your decas, yeah, if you want to get big, bruv. And I think GH generally is so overhyped as well. Oh, I'm going to jump on the growth. The name makes it sound so much better than what it is.
You know what I'd see it as? You know where I'd really use it pre-holiday. If I was going on holiday with the boys, that is where I would use it. I would blast a decent amount every morning to get some of that nasty fullness when I'm on holiday. I tell everyone it's an aesthetic drug. Like, it just gives me a better, rounder, fuller look. That's all I see from it. And like I mentioned in the last podcast, and because as I get better at this stuff over time, I'm paying more attention to what's going on in my body. When I dropped it out only because I ran out last time, and I was peak off season in nailing stupid amounts of food, was how quickly the fat started compounding on when I didn't have any for a week. It was like by a day, you start feeling that heaviness, that softness. Like it was 1, 2, 3 days, I could see it coming on really quick. It was nuts.
And I think it's important that we all agree on this as well. When anybody says to me, should I take it or should I not, blah, 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 you best believe that 250 quid just to run 3 IU, 2.5 IU a day, you go and spend that on some good testosterone, equipoise, deck or whatever, you were gaining a shit ton more muscle from that 250 quid including drugs than you ever are from growth hormone, ever. So unless you have the money, and I've had some fantastic clients win shows, first timer shows, open shows without using GH.
My best look was with no GH. Do you know what I mean? Fucking hell.
I tell you what though, having put it at 6 IU, straight away, within days, my weight went up about 15 pounds. So I gained about 15, haven't changed my diet. And this is the thing, that I'm keeping everything exactly the same. Training is exactly the same. Diet's exactly the same. So having kept everything the same, my weight went from 243, 245 to 260.
That's a really hard environment to pinpoint, though, isn't it? Rebound. That's a difficult one. I think, from my experience, I think from GH putting it in, coming out, pulling it out, I would be happy with a 4 pound gain. I see anything from 2 to 4 pound with growth hormone. That's what I get. At 2 to 4 pound of intracellular fullness. The only ones I get a little bit more from is, you remember that? Is it 2K tropin that was floating about? Remember that stuff? You put that in, yes, you got fullness, but my God, did you get 3 or 4 pounds of water with it as well? And
the Helix was good.
The Helix was awesome.
The Gen A's good, I still think.
There's a lot of water because I'll be walking, my feet. When you feel like that cushion on your feet, you're almost like your feet are swelled up, and my calves would get so fucking pumped. They're almost cramp. I can't walk for longer than 5 minutes.
But bro, I really, really rate the Helix, the Gen A, the Adelphi, the one that you're using, Deck.
I would compare
they're good generics.
The Falcon one to the Helix. I think Helix was the best that I've ran, and everyone I gifted it to had experienced the same thing. I do think they are a cut above, and I can say this, Adelphi, Gen A, that sort of stuff. I think they give a different look. It's less water, it's more fullness. Even with the Gen A and Gen X, I do get a smaller film of water. It's not drastic, it's not as bad as 2K Tropin, but I definitely get a film of water. But obviously in the off season, that's what you really want, isn't it? You want that film of water.
Whenever I ran Gen A, right, me and Hilly, we tried this, right? I was like, mate, my blood sugars are mental high in the morning. He goes, it's the growth. I went using Gen A.
Well, I had that, didn't I?
I took it out.
But because I sent you guys my blood sugar in the morning, I was fucking freaking out. I was like, what the fuck? Why is it like 120? But then Hilly was like, that's normal.
What's 120 in
English?
So I'll find it now, but because my glucometer measures it in like the American.
7 to 8.
120 blood sugar.
That's why he's fucking £15 up.
Yeah.
This is where I dropped down 3 hours between shows, and now I've gone back to 6, but I'm still only 11 or 12 over stage weight. So I haven't seen the balloon.
And you look fucking awesome at the moment, mate, as well. That I understand it's annoying and it's frustrating the point you're at, but you look fucking nails.
So 120 is 6.7.
Yeah, so you're not that far over me.
Not that far. Yeah, I used to get to about 6.
Yeah.
And this is what I worry about blood glucose. Maybe the next podcast we should do a topic actually on blood glucose and monitoring it, right? Because 4 to 6 is very normal, right? Yes, ideally you want to be between 4 and 5. If you're pushing food and you're heavier, go on to see you trend up into 5. There's nothing wrong with that. If you went to the doctors and you were 5.5 and they're not worried, why is anybody else worried? Do you know what I mean? And then if you're taking a drug like growth hormone, that mechanistically, one of its mechanisms is to release more blood glucose into the body, you were going to expect a higher reading. Now, yes, this is when people would start going, oh, you need Lantus, you need this. Well, really, why do you? If you stop the growth hormone, it'll drop back into range. So it's not a fucking worry, is it? Do you know what I mean?
Shall we jump on to some more questions, boys? Quick fire some out.
Yeah, we can fucking talk about this shit all day long. Opinion on Hani Rambod. Everyone's is he the greatest coach, or is he just really good at peaking people?
150%.
No, listen, mate.
He's
Bro,
a
best coach in the
mindset
world, bro.
coach, man. He's a mindset coach. Like
He's got the most Olympia wins.
but he what people don't see, and I think unless you watch his content, which I watch a lot of in his podcast,
I watch all of his podcasts. He's
you
really
really
good.
understand. Like he's not. It's like in business in my career. Like I work with some people who are like elite levels of like the whole mentoring type thing, if that makes sense. And that's what he does. He understands people's mindset. He knows how to get them to tick. And I think once you do that, combined with genetics and his knowledge around training and peaking, I think that's where he really comes into his own. Because you look at the likes of Aceto as an example, like we said, you're getting a fucking 2-word response from him. Like, just do this. That's what you're getting. I think he is all in. All in.
Yeah, he's one of the best because he covers all areas. Like AJ. AJ is, in my opinion, one of the best. He has all of the knowledge. He isn't focused on, have you got anything going on in life? Is there any stress? Do you need a social occasion?
You don't care.
There's no care. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But I think where Henny is different is, he's like, how are you feeling? What's going on in your life? How do I get you to perform optimally in every area? And I think there is an important part to that. But I also think that the kid's just got it all on fucking lockdown. He's very good with the drugs. He's very good with the peaking. He's very good with the nutrition.
He's very good at keeping it quiet as well.
Everything. I think he's here. I mean, regardless, you've only got to look at his
FFP7
stats.
Yeah, his stats. Look at his stats. He is one of the best in the world. Just looking at his stats.
Stats wise, he's the best. You can't take that away.
Well, Chad as well. Him and Chad are up there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Chad Nichols, Chris Aceto.
Did you
You've got to bear in mind, Chad. On top of the fact that he had all Ronnie Wood and all of those, at one point Chad was also prepping. I think
10 people, yeah.
Flex, Chris Cormier, all of them. He had him go into each room.
NASA, everybody, yeah.
Who else is a good coach in that at that level?
I think they all like.
Matt Jansen.
Yeah, I
He
still
doesn't.
think George Farrell's quite good. He gets people, robs them, and does an alright job.
No, I don't know.
I love the way he talks, bro. I love the way he
He
talks.
creeps me out. He just looks like a pedo, doesn't he? He just looks like he touches you while you're posing.
These questions.
Yeah, quick fire.
When that's going to be a fucking long one. When to change something in a plan for a client? Example: in a push phase, when is it the right time to up food, up drug, change split? Same question goes for cutting. So when you make changes,
That's a whole episode question.
Listen, the time you make changes is when you see no changes in the check-in. Okay,
Done.
and
Conclusion.
not just for like 1 week. You got to wait a little bit longer because sometimes
Yeah.
it's lag. People expect changes every fucking week. It's not that. Sometimes less is more.
If you haven't seen any change in 3 or 4 weeks, then it's time for a change. But apart from that, I think we all agree.
Especially in a gaining phase, you don't want to be making that many changes that soon.
this is a fact. Yeah, if your coach is consistently changing shit week in week out, your coach is shit.
You're bad. You're a bad client.
Oh,
that
I
one.
can't. Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
Do any of you use a belt? If so, it's more for a waist control. I see a lot of people wearing them every session. I don't.
I wear it on T-bar. That's it.
Yeah, I'll wear a belt on when I'm heavy squatting. That's it. But I've also got herniated
I
discs.
used to as when I powerlifted and carried that over, but then I thought that my abs aren't actually developing because of that. So now I don't wear it for that.
I wear it when I deadlift sometimes.
I've always been of the theory that although I understand the why, the way the belt works is by breathing into the belt.
You brace into it.
Yeah.
So you brace into it, so you're almost causing distension, you can cause hernias. I found every time I try to wear a belt, I would start getting a burning sensation around my belly button, so I've never worn one.
I find with the belt, I only wear it on my max set on deadlift and max set on T-bar. But if I keep it on, I get low back pump and I'll take it off.
The thing is, for me, it's a mental cue for me. Like, I can squat without it, but as I get to the tail end of my heavier sets, I start losing control of my brace. With a belt on nice and tight, like I know I'm pressed against it, and I can just continue my top sets. That's the only reason I do it.
Next question.
Can you get Hilly a microphone?
I got one.
I'll send a picture of the group, the screenshot. Look at him.
The group, yeah.
He's made it.
Riz didn't tell me I need an adapter. So
He's not got the adapter.
It'll be on for next week.
Next question.
So this is a fucking long one, but basically it says that can the logbook be detrimental? Like
Yes.
getting caught up on
Yes.
the logbook.
Yes.
So in short, yes.
I'll tell you, for me, just as a quick one, it got detrimental for me simply because I was so focused on beating it all of the time. It took the fun out of my training. So I spent the whole last year with AJ not using one. Now I'm creating this new training program where it's got some more progressive overloading, and I am actually now excited to bring a logbook back in, but I'm just going to logbook the first 3 exercises of each workout, nothing else. So I think that it's detrimental when it becomes detrimental, and it's positive. As stupid as that sounds, it's positive when it becomes positive. For me now, because of the way I've laid out this new plan, I've just got 2 or 3 exercises that I want to logbook. And now I haven't started yet because I'm still working out the nitty gritties, but I'm like, I can't wait to have some numbers down even go hell to leather. Whereas last year, one of the reasons of signing with AJ is because I'd stopped using it because I was sick to the back teeth, writing things down, looking at the numbers and being like, I'm a failure if I don't fucking get them. It was ruining my workouts.
The least fun I've had training in my whole career was when the tail end of using a logbook, because every day, and going back to like our conversation I suppose earlier about performance and Dan's mindset and stuff, like that's what I became like. Like I was like, I had anxiety about it beating my numbers, and if I didn't achieve it, I was just fucking angry. It felt like the session was a waste. But now they understand that's absolute nonsense. Not all variables are always going to be the same, but as long as I'm taking that muscle to failure, it doesn't know what weight I've lifted. The muscle doesn't have a brain. It doesn't know what the difference between 150 or 200 kilos. All it understands is muscular failure. That's it.
I think periodically there's a benefit to bringing it back. So once a year for like a couple of months, every so often I'll bring it back, and then I'll ditch it. You know,
I think I used to logbook hard heels, but I put it away. I was like, nah. What I found really good was you just log your main compound lifts, all the isolation fluffy shit, all the bicep curls. Don't log none of that because you can't really progress bicep that much, yeah. And then the other good thing that I found was just totally dropping it like I do now. And let's be honest, when you're training the same split every fucking week, you know
Yeah.
what you lift.
It's easy to remember. Exactly. The compound's easy to remember.
Yeah.
You and your training partner will know. Like, Matt knows what I do. I know what he does. I do 8 he does about 16. You know what I mean?
It's like the thing is, if you're serious about training, because a lot of these people with the logbooks, I almost find they're not as serious about training as they make it out to be. Because, like, if you're serious about training, you're not switching it all the time. Say if you're incline dumbbell pressing, you know where the bench is at every single fucking time. Chances are you're fucking using the same fucking bench, you know?
Yeah,
So-
I watch them finish their set, and they're more excited about finishing their set to get their pad out than they are in the last rep. Like I watch
Yeah.
them do it. They're like 90% effort. Then they get off and they got their little pad out and they sit there with their headphones in and they're like this. And they look at their phone to check something. They're writing this down. They take a 7-minute breather and then go back at it again.
You
Like I
have to
can tell you
accept one.
exactly what I press for my fucking last workout. I don't even have to, you know, I'm not.
Yeah. The thing is, I think a lot of people do it because they're new to the scene and they need to fit in. That is the conclusion.
Yeah.
Next question.
That's a really good one. If you were trying to get as fit as possible, what cycle would you run? That's a hilly question.
No cycle, mate. You want to be healthy, bro.
Anything that's going to drive RBC, so eat equipoise for sure.
Nothing that gasses you out like Tren.
If it was me, I'd be 300 milligrams of test and maybe 150 milligrams of equipoise.
What's that mad drug that people were using, Hilly, once upon a time?
EPO.
Really vascular.
EPO?
Yeah, they're making people really vascular pre-show and it's killing people.
EPO will fucking kill you. EPO will kill you, bro.
I mean, like, so for like the lesser sort of toxic compound, maybe like some Winstrol. Winstrol's really good with endurance athletes.
Sprint athletes, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, test
Carnitine.
Deca. Yeah, Carnitine. Buy that.
Winston is more to do with it dries you out a bit. Some on the muscle and their ability to perform. But for me, in terms of fitness, testosterone will do everything you need for performance and to enhance your fitness work in terms of strength and functionality. And a little bit of EQ will control estrogen, so it'll keep you on the dry side. It will increase your red blood cell count. More red blood cells, more oxygen. And I do have 2 CrossFit clients at the moment that have both been using Carnitine that seem to rate that very high, with L-carnitine as well, and that's not a bullshit figures, by the way. I'll tell you actually, one of my clients, John Ramsey, so he's a physio, he's not taking any anabolics at all, his progress is absolutely off its fucking tits, and we've just been using growth hormone, L-carnitine, Alpha T from Jordan, from Trained by JP. That kid, I mean, he has competed before, so he's got muscle memory, right? But every time that kid checks in, and we're doing a hybrid between 3-weight training sessions and CrossFit stuff, his progress is fucking insane. There is no anabolics going on. His testosterone level is only around 9 or 10. But the changes where you're driving through some growth hormone use, L-carnitine use, he really rates Alpha T by Trained by JP to the point where he stocked up, even though he didn't really see much of an improvement in his actual test level. He drastically noticed an improvement in performance. And then we've brought in Carnitine to use, which is a SAM that has been shown to help with endurance, quite popular in CrossFit class. And he is noticing huge improvements from that combination of drugs with no ADS at all, both in terms of strength training, fitness in CrossFit, and his body composition.
I know another really good compound to chuck in there as icing on the cake would be clenbuterol. It's a beta-2 agonist. It relaxes your lungs, the breathing capacity increases it. It's a fantastic drug for that.
Yeah. It is actually slightly muscle. What's the word?
Anti-catabolic.
Anti-catabolic, because you should.
If
A lot of
you
people.
actually look on the graphs between like anti-catabolic and anabolic, for females, it sways. It's like 3.5% over towards anabolic for females.
The thing is, if you're using testosterone, that's probably not why you're using it. You're not using Clen to offset muscle breakdown, but you're probably all the other benefits like the increased oxygen capacity.
It's a biggie with Dave Palumbo. When he puts everyone on cruise, he always runs a high dose of, or when they come off cycle, he runs a high dose of clenbuterol to stop them losing any tissue from the cycle.
On PCT.
Yeah, on PCT.
Yeah. I think a very good cycle. What I would do is I'd run test. I run like very low test, 150 test, 100 Deca, and then I'd either run Winstrol or T-ball alongside.
Deca for the joints.
Because the Winstrol obviously would dry out the joint, and the Deca would counteract that. So you get the benefit of both.
T-ball is a biggie, isn't it?
No, it actually works though.
Yeah, no, T-ball's massive though, isn't it? In Olympics, that's when they all get tested for.
T-ball.
Yeah.
And they smashed everyone. A lot of people don't actually know how good T-ball is because it's often just D-ball that they're given fake. Yeah. Real T-ball is very, 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 very good.
No, I've never actually used it. Like, it's
never
not something I've ever used.
Hilly is a big fan of it. Big fan.
I think people get confused. Look at T-ball as if it's D-ball. Same as when they're looking at
yeah.
Really, T-ball comes into its own when you're looking at just purely improving performance. Yeah. Whereas Dynabol is driving the same process as testosterone is in terms of building muscle. I think that's your difference.
The same pathway Winstrol dries out your joints, it's the same pathway Deca lubricates your joints. But that's why I said that. So can't balance,
What is everyone's favourite oral? If you had to pick one oral, what would that be?
Anavar, 100%.
Superdrug.
Man, you put 100 megs of Anavar in me pre-workout, I'm telling you, my forearms walk around so pumped, I can't fucking close my hands. I love Anavar.
For me, it's oxys. I love oxys.
Oxys are good.
You are killing me. The amount of times you've introduced them, I'm good for a week, and then every time I shower, my nose is pissing out with blood. My body just can't deal with it. It's weird as fuck.
But that fucking week I'm on him, fuck me, it's shit going on.
I love all the drugs, bro. They're all good.
To be honest,
I have one.
No drug really fucks me. I'm all right with all drugs.
We got another question?
Yeah.
Deck?
One more.
Yeah, I got some.
The best drug when it comes to aggression, oral Halo, fucking Jesus Christ, bro. Best drug.
Oral Primo though, the fullness on that shit is mental.
You said that. Yeah, you said that.
I got sent a freebie. I ripped a guy off. He wanted me to post on my Instagram. I said, send me X, Y, and Z, and I'll test it out. And he sent me 5 packets of methylated primobolan, and they were 7.5 meg per pill. And I think I was running like 25 megs pre-workout, and it was off it. The fullness was fucking ridiculous. But yeah.
What was the question, Dave?
Would you rather run a gram of Tren or a gram of Ment?
I've never ran Ment, so Tren.
You'd be dead on that much Ment, bro. People talking
Well, I've been in prison for 37 years for murder or rape.
Go to the next question. What a waste of the fucking question.
Get out of bed.
Optimizing digestion when food is really high.
Eat less.
See, this is one thing that I don't ever get. No one has a digestion. I've never had. I could fucking eat. So the weekend, me and Ryan done this eating challenge.
We're fat kids.
I watched it.
We're not
7,000 calories, bro. And Ryan was like, I haven't eaten like for the rest of the day. I got back and I was like, I'm kind of hungry. Fuck me, I need to get my next meal in. Fucking had another meal. I sent you my picture, like I just don't get like that. I can fucking eat and eat and eat.
Same as me. I think it's just a genetic proponent, but like I'm exactly the same. My digestion never skews. I can eat and eat and eat. Yeah. Even if I push the food and take the piss with a binge, an hour later I can eat again. Like I mean, it's
just
like,
on that topic,
The next morning I wake up, I'm like I'm fucking starving.
On that topic, Hilly, when you are hungry, your stomach has what is it, ghrelin, right?
Yes, ghrelin.
So surely, there must be a drug out there. Surely you can have a drug that was just ghrelin. You just give yourself a ghrelin.
There is.
Right?
It's that stupid SARM that ruins everyone's fucking...
So
GHRP6?
No, not Osterine. What's the other one?
Talking about semaglutide.
No, not. The original SARM. They say it's...
GHRP6.
No, the one they say mimic growth.
MK677.
That one. That one.
That's a dog shit drug. That's a dirty shit drug.
That signals a ghrelin response. That spikes ghrelin. That's why people love it.
GHRP6 does a bit. To answer the question, the easiest way to describe this for me you're in an off season, right? And it's a very basic explanation that I explain to all my digestive clients. Think of your stomach like a blender, right? So if you drop beef, so chunks of steak, brown rice, and sweet potato, and green beans in a blender and blitz it, it'll go glug 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 glug, and then it'll blitz it. If you drop salmon, white rice, spinach in the blender and blitz it, it'll go blitz it through. Best way to keep your digestion, your appetite up in an off season is pick foods that will be eaten, because you don't want your food, your stomach being full for long periods of
Or
time.
chew the food better.
More.
Yeah.
See, I don't know about you, but I take ages to eat my
I
fucking.
know, I'm an idiot. I'm an
I
animal.
don't.
Like, I'm embarrassing. Like, you ask Daisy, like, I almost choke myself when I eat that fast.
I swallow the food.
But even
I-
so, it'll still take longer. So if you like the blender and that, it's so basic, but it works so well. Whereas if you're in a diet phase and you want to be fuller for longer, think of foods that will take longer to blend up. So if you drop almond butter, raw oats, and whole eggs in a blender, it will go glug 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 glug. Whereas if you drop cream of rice, egg whites, and coconut oil in a blender and go blitz, it'll go splits through it. When you are in an off season, you want foods in general that will blend easy. When you're in a diet phase and you want to be fuller for longer, you will want foods that will take longer to blend. So for me, when it's not a digestive problem, when you're just trying to get more food in, you want foods that are blitz and easy. That's the easiest.
Have you ever realised in off season, whenever I get really full, yeah, as soon as I have a takeaway, I eat it because I salivate, right? I think a lot of people should make their food taste really, really good.
I also get that sometimes.
Oh,
When
man.
you're really full and you think, I can't eat a meal, but you force that meal in, the next one I'm starving for. It like forces my gastric pass. It's weird. I don't know how it does it.
I think you're like me. You have to do. This is a legit question at Deck. How many bowel movements do you have in a day?
I shit like 3 times, morning, pre-gym, and then at bedtime.
Yeah, pre-gym's the best. What
That's
about
the
you,
best
Chips?
one.
Bro, once, that's it. I'm a one time in the morning. And I tell you what, I get pissed, like sometimes twice. So sometimes it's in the morning. So I might get up, have a coffee, go for a shit, go out for a walk or do my cardio, come back, have another shit, and then eat my first meal.
Mate,
But,
my
like-
poo time's like sacred for me. I love my poo time.
Mine's are synchronized.
Yeah.
It's always exactly the same time. So that saves. Sometimes if I wake up, I've got to go somewhere, and I miss out, and I miss the whole day. I'm fucked off the whole day.
Because Hilly only goes once.
I'm lucky if I go once a day, sometimes every other day.
Because with me, I remember telling Hilly, I goes, bro, when I eat, I need to go to the toilet.
I'm the same.
And I was like, there's something wrong with me. He goes, bro, it's
Actually,
not.
like takeaways, like Five Guys. But if I eat Five Guys, I'm going to poo in like 20 minutes.
But bro, my stomach's weird because I don't poo after gym all the way until tomorrow now. And then I poo like 4 times in the day, then it just stops. It's like I have to eat for it to come out. I have to eat, then it comes out. It's like a pushing constant cycle.
It is funny though, because as I get leaner and my food's less, like I
Stop
don't.
shitting.
Yeah, it's rude.
I did shit for like 4 days in prep, like most of the
I
time.
hate. That's one of the bit that plays on my mind. Like when I'm not shitting, it's the only thing I don't like about prep. It really worries me a bit.
I remember 2019, I went here, I goes, bro, I can't shit. I goes, I can't shit. It's been about 2 days. He goes, you'll be fine. I goes, nah, I'm taking the Juco-Lees, yeah? I took the Juco-Lees, I took the Juco-Lax, and I took the Senocopper, man fainting on the toilet. Man did a shit so big, I was like, Mum, come and get me. And I just got, that's how big the shit was, bro.
Magnesium, bro. Magnesium. That
Juco-Lex.
always helps. It's
Hilly's going to be proud of me today.
magnesium straight.
So Ducalac is a stimulant flaccid. It causes the intestines to contract and forces the shit out, whereas Ducalese causes the intestines to pull more fluid into the bowels
To make it
Fluid
pass.
is softer, so they
I
make
like it.
pass.
So I was banging all of them, bruv, yeah. I sat on the toilet. I'm like, oh, fuck, it's going to be a big boy. Bruv, the shit must have been so big. I fucking collapsed.
The strong digest max is good, but you can overdo it. Because at first I'm like, it says like start with half a scoop. I'm like, a full scoop. That actually makes it worse. Backs you
mate.
up more.
It's like
Yeah.
if you fucking nail a load of psyllium husk as well, bro. I'm shitting for days. That stuff works a treat. I'll give me
It's-
psyllium husk. That stuff keeps
It's
you regular.
because
Too much husband Won't do the wind back
Yeah.
you up.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they start eating loads of veg, yeah, and they make some shit. That's what I just have the same amount every single day. I have this much mixed veg in every meal. Once I
drink it,
increase that, my shit comes out too much. If I have too much again, I get the fucking
I
constipated.
eat no veg. I
Even-
just drink them in the morning. I literally eat no
Mine's-
veg in my food.
When they go, like I can't skip, or like I always ask them, I'm like, what time is it? Not like what time, but like roughly, like how is your bowel movements? And they'll go, yeah, it's random. I'm like, you're not sticking to your fucking diet. See, with us a
Yeah.
lot, right? Because we're still on the same fucking diet, like
100%.
you've got your fucking structure. Like me and Hilly, like go in the morning for like once, whatever. But it's always the same thing. I'll never
Same
go at
thing.
ever. I'll never go at night because the diet's always exactly the same.
Yeah, I never ever go at night. Rarely. Only if I have a cheat meal.
So that tells you, like, people that don't do that, people that are like random, you can tell they're fucking doing all sorts of shit with their diets.
I hate losing my bowel, bro. It fucks me up in prep, bro. I lose the plot, bro.
Question. DHB overall thoughts. Have any of you used it? What was your opinions?
Never used
Still
it.
need to play with it.
Never used it. Next question.
I've got 4 bottles, so I want to use it, but
Yeah, I've never used it. No.
meant to be really pippy.
We'll get Dan BASTICK on for that one on Matt Tofton. They'll answer that for you.
Dan rates it a lot.
Yeah.
Matt loves it.
I got one from
Oh, okay.
MJ Riley here, Hilly's new client and the cool guy from the show. He says, when is Riz releasing the rest of the supplement range in quiz?
Listen, look, this is all a legitimate business, right? If you want anabolics, go see Rama or Pharma or Ignis or one of them brands or
I did to my DMs, bro.
No, I'm not into that shit, bro.
Boys, I'm going for me base.
Yeah.
Love you,
Okay.
believers.
Sam.
Catch you
Right,
later.
chat.
Good day, gents.
Peace out, motherfuckers.
What's the time?
10
Ken?
I think.
10 o'clock.
Do you want to bang out?
Should we do a couple more, or are we gonna?
Let's bang out 2 or 3 more, then I'm going to shoot.
And then we're not gonna do our usual and stay up for another hour and a half.
No. I think Dee's still asleep. I need to wake her up.
You go, Dave. What have you got any questions?
She come up to me. She come up because like my missus and Dee were both like at the set, like hanging around because me and Riz were like bouncing all over the place, and they were just like chatting shit. And my missus said like to her how, because I said to her, "Oh, you can't wear that. It doesn't look good." So she told Dee, she fucking come and blast me for it.
Mate, D and fuck around. D's not someone you want to piss off, bro. I'm telling you that now.
Yeah.
I went to Chudley. I goes, let them be mates, so we can just do our own thing. I just left.
Hitch them. Will she fucking hitch
Mate, D is literally like the nicest human being on the planet. Like, she'll make friends with anyone. She's just nice. She ain't got a bad bone in her body.
Yeah, that was good. That worked all right because we left them two to kind of like.
Yeah, bring the message to the next show.
Riz could. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to normal stuff, bro.
Hmm.
We've got some questions.
Should I tell you what?
Three of them.
Mine are rubbish.
Right, let's see. Tips on carb training. I don't.
Don't
train.
ask me, bro.
Fuck it, don't ask me that, bro. I got pathetic calves, and I've been hammering them, and they ain't growing. They're just getting full.
just shit, bro.
Yeah.
Carbs are like really good genetically, and I've always thought I'm going to actually give it a proper shot and train them, and if they're like good, they can get really fucking good. I swear, like I trained them like hard for like 3 months, nothing happened. They look exactly the same.
Yeah, bro. My calves used to be good when I used to box, and now they're just shit. And I just think, I can't be asked.
I think if you've got calves, you've got calves. You don't whether you train them or not. If you haven't, and they're not going to grow no matter what.
Bro, I train with Matt, bro. The guy calves are bigger than my quad. You don't even train him.
I mean, I was a weirdo. If someone had a camera on me that day, I was just looking at his calves. Everywhere he was going, I was watching his calves.
Bro, Matt, back to that question of like who was the most impressive. When you come up, Chris, like at the like entry there, and Matt walked past, and I literally we both looked at it like, well, you're kind of used to it, but I looked at it and I was like, what the fuck?
I think Bomber looks more impressive in the gym. When you see him in a vest, that's when you really see like this kid's a fucking monster.
Yeah.
Like because well, to be fair, when he was out with us, he was wearing like a jumper and a gilet, so you couldn't see it. But like his arms are fucking bonkers.
Bro, Matt is. Bro, I go to the gym, man. Man's are like, bro, you're looking a bit big. I'm like, listen, mate. I train with this big motherfucker. You ever call me big again? Do you know what I mean? I just feel small all the time. It's wicked, though.
And then it stood next to him. I was talking to him. I was like, just thinking, how the fuck is that even like possible? Fuck me. Size of him.
Bro, this is the stage he's at, yeah? We're doing legs today. We have to slow down because he's got a slight knot in his leg. And bro, he goes, Riz, I went to get deep tissue on it. They can't get deep enough into the knot. I went to get a needling on it. They put the whole needle in. The needle come out by itself.
Yeah.
You can see those legs are genetics, though, and he's got like that Rami muscle. You know, like when they say Rami can connect with a 10K plate and it goes to failure in like 5 reps.
Yeah.
You can see how the quad development is off his thigh. That is just pure mind to muscle. Do you know what I mean?
Bro, this is how strong he is on legs. Yeah, this is no cap. Yeah, we went to another gym the other day. Do you know the Nitrum leg press, one like the Nautilus?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shit leg press as well, bro.
The Nitrum one's all right. The squat press, yeah?
Yeah.
Bro, I did like 8 plates. Matt did 14 aside. With a band on. I'm talking like 15 reps, bro. 15, 20 reps, yeah? With a band on. Reverse, so the band makes it harder, yeah? This guy just made that something else, bro. Like, his
physique all works as well. Does that make sense? Like he hasn't got the smallest waist, but like his legs are so big it plays well. Like his arms are so big it plays well. Like nothing's out of place. Do you see what I mean? It doesn't look like the other kiddie Reese when we seen him. Like if I was walking around with my midsection like that, I'd be worried. But with Matt, it all fits. You know what I mean?
And you got to think, bro, he's kept his midsection that tight and he's on 7,500 calories and 2 treat meals a week.
Yeah, mad.
Which is very impressive.
But yeah, that's when I saw him, I thought, fucking hell.
Mate, one of the most impressive people I've seen in real life was that Harley Judge.
Really? Is he that good?
Mate, he is fucking huge. Like, I was like, because Dan, it was the first time Dan seen me, and he was like, mate, you are fucking huge. And he walked past me and Dan when we were talking for the first time. He would like he do double doors when you go into an auditorium.
Yeah,
he like swarmed the double doors on his own. Massive, huge bloke.
Because Ryan went on about him, and I thought
Ryan is big as well, you know, bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But Ryan was going on about him, and I'm kind of like, I don't know, because he seems like like an Instagram.
Yeah,
guy.
he is that guy, but he's a big like similar to Nave. I would say he's got like those rugby player genetics. Like he's big, he's dense everywhere, you know.
Yeah,
just a big block.
Yeah. Big guy.
Best adductor exercises.
Close leg hamstring curl.
Use a dumbbell, put them into your feet, and you see the difference, how much quick that lights your adductors up.
Yeah. But even if you just do your hamstring curl with your feet together, you get a lot of adductor in as well.
Yeah. And goblet squats. Goblet squats are awesome for it as well, especially if you let your toes out real wide. They're really good for it.
See, I always rated sumo deadlifts for that reason. Yeah. My adductors are quite well developed, and I think that's what it's from. Because I pulled like 8 plates sumo.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't ever tell Dan that you pulled sumo; he will automatically disown you, bro.
He knows, but it's because in powerlifting, like. You switch, so you've obviously got all your, say like if you start a prep for a comp prep, you might start with sumo for the first 6 weeks, and then you switch.
Yeah.
They kind of like carry over into each other. So you kind of almost use the sumo as a supplementary lift your competition lift.
Yeah. So one more question, boys?
Should we do one more question? Right, let me put that question. How would you go about switching from strength to hypertrophy? See,
just change the rep range.
It's the same thing, though, isn't it? Like, is this someone who's very inexperienced and is doing like the 5x5 thing? Like, is this kind of what they're going from strength training to hypertrophy?
Yeah, see, this is the thing. Like, I actually just opened that question, but me and Ryan actually answered that question on the podcast last time, and I said exactly the same thing. I said you should always be trying to get stronger.
Yeah.
No matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
I think this is very much a newbie question, isn't it? Because they can't understand what we mean by high volume. They think when we say high volume, we're backing off load. No, we're not. We're just shooting for a higher rep range with the heaviest load as possible. And if we're working in 6 reps, we're still shooting for the heaviest load as possible. I'm not doing a fluffy set just because I'm doing more than 10 reps, you know?
so
Yeah, exactly. Bang on.
not even just that, but if you look at any program that's powerlifting program, you start off at, let's say, 80% intensity, or even your 1 rep max. You go off something called a training max, which is 90% of your real 1 rep max. So you're always training sub-maximally. So you're never training a failure. You can take your reps higher. So there's stuff that you can do 3 by 12. There could be a day that you're doing volume. So you're doing 3 by 12. But even at that point, that's only like, say, 80%. So you're kind of training at RP 7, RP 6. You know, you're hardly going past that, like where we go for hypertrophy, where you go to training
Muscular failure, yeah.
Yeah. So just start training the failure, and over time, lower your volume.